Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chai with Gary. Arsenal nil, Manchester United nil at the Emirates. Disappointing, disappointing. But before that, we've got a special guest today, Yugi. Welcome to the channel. First video. How's
Thank you.
things?
Thank you. Proud to be here today in
It's good,
this
man. It's
moment
good.
with you guys.
Always good to have an Arsenal fan here.
Am I
Listen,
your first Arsenal fan?
you are
You're,
actually. So you're
you're
number
our
one.
only Arsenal fan.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, so we'll give you a special badge after this. Just kidding.
Yes. Please mail it to me.
Listen, man. Before we go into the game itself, we've got to talk about, I guess, the initial thoughts going to this game. United,
Yes.
we lost that game against Sheffield, so we were somewhat conservative, I think, going to this game. But Arsenal, you've been on a really good run of games. You've won a lot of games consecutively, pulling results where start of the seasons may not have worked out so well. So credit to the team. So what were your thoughts going to this game in terms of getting a result or win here at the Emirates?
I definitely did. I don't think we would have won. I going into the game, I didn't think that winning was ever in the books because of the way Man United were playing. And I think you look at Sheffield United. I wouldn't consider that match going into this match. I look at the previous match, and I think you guys um, you know, are dangerous and with the players that you have, and with our players, and when we play against big teams, it doesn't gel very well. So I did not have good expectations going into the game, and the lineup made it worse when I saw the Arsenal lineup. I'm like, okay, like no Aubameyang, no Tierney, no Saka. No Saka is probably the worst
Yeah.
case scenario, and I was like, okay, right. Let's see what happens here. And it's like, okay, I think it'll be 2-0 to Man United. That was my initial thoughts going game. At least 2-0.
Interesting,
That's
interesting.
that's very
Yeah.
interesting because
Now, Guy,
Gary and I were kind of
I want to
yeah,
get your
Gary.
thoughts on this because going to this game, I just had a bad feeling. I told you in the last video that we did, I just had a bad feeling about this game and the form that Arsenal were in right now. What were your thoughts into going to this game?
I thought I thought we'd win. I thought we'd win 2-1. That was my gut feeling. Uh, I know Arsenal's been posting good results over the last few games, but I was confident about our away form, right? We have been exceptionally good away from home, especially when we can bring out our big guns in counter-attacking pace that we have and the players that we have in the field. I thought it was going to be one of those games where Arsenal would attack us a little bit more, and then we'd have spaces to run into and stuff like that. So that's what I was banking on. But when I read the team sheet, like Yugi said, I was quite disappointed. Right, we went in with a very conservative two defensive mids in our starting lineup, and I was quite happy that Scott McTominay, I mean, had to poop or whatever he had to do. And had left for about 37 minutes, 39 minutes, or whatever it was. And Martial came on. So I was confident then because we changed the formations and then we could hit them on the counter. We had our firepower in Pogba and Bruno as well. I was kind of hoping we'd win, and I thought we'd win going into the game, but, we just succumbed to the same old issues we have breaking teams down who kind of sit back.
Yeah, Chai, for me as well, going to this game, I just was not confident about getting anything out of this game. And then when I saw the team lineup, I sort of had a bit of hope. Saka out, Tierney out, probably the
Yeah,
best left back in the league. Aubameyang out. I thought, man, this if there's ever a time to play Arsenal, this would be it. They
yeah.
don't have their key players. Um, they're probably going to play highly defensive. And I thought if we had just put out the right players, we could have just got something out of the game. But again, that did not happen. So anyway, gents, we move on to the next topic. Gentlemen, time to talk about the game itself. I'll start with you, Chai. Your overall thoughts about the game.
It was too early in the morning for me. That's my overall thought about the game. But but let me talk about the game, right? So it was for me one of those games where we didn't have a cleverness in our attack going forward to kind of break them down. And especially when their centre back gets a yellow card in the 13 minutes, I thought we should have put a lot more pressure on him. Right? Is Cedric, I think, was put 13 minutes into the game, and I think we should have capitalized on that, which didn't happen. For some reason, there was a breakdown in midfield, and Rashford and Martial are probably out of form. So compounding, it became a very stale game, right? But what I did think was okay. The first half we played well. Second half, I think Arsenal had the better. I think Arsenal grew more into the game, right? And what I did think was if Pepe had the shooting boots of Salah, I think United would have lost this game. I think there was, I think, yeah, I think the few couple of shots that he did have, the runs he was making down the left hand side, I think he should have on the right hand side actually. He should have put a couple through. And unfortunate about that free kick hitting the post as well, Lacazette's. But I mean, overall, I think Arsenal would be more disappointed with the result than United would have been. This is how the game played out, right? I'm purely talking about the game. I think Arsenal fans would be a little more disappointed than United fans are. United fans should be lucky to come back with a 0-0.
Yugi, your point of view.
Um, I'll just touch on a few things that I said as well. I think one thing we need to realize is Arsenal fans are always disappointed. I think since a couple of seasons ago, we've been disappointed after this. Disappointment is our middle name right now. So anything that is out of the ordinary is a magnificent surprise. And coming out with 1 point today, we will take it. But I can tell you, 90% of Arsenal fans would not agree with that statement because, the expectation of a club has tremendously changed. If you look at the game that was played today and the game that was played 5 years ago, Manchester United, it's a complete different energy. And I
Yeah,
don't think any of the teams brought the energy today. It was weak in terms of passion, in terms of tactically. I think Unai Emery's favorite word, tactically strong. Yes, everybody
I
showed
thought it
up,
was good happening.
but yes, good everything tactically. Protagonist, antagonist, everything good. But there was no fire, and I actually I was more excited to see Man United play because Bruno's form, Pogba's form, and I'm like, okay, let's see something. Because I haven't been watching Man United games, and I've been watching Arsenal games, and now I was like, okay, this is a good chance to see. These guys
yeah,
are what, top of the table, and then now second place. I'm like, oh, possible title contenders. Let's see how they're playing. Is Man United back? And when I was watching the game, I was like, okay. To be honest, guys should have been two up because Cavani had two shots, and
yeah,
that should have gone in. Right, that was the 2-0 right there. Should have gone in. Um, and we are lucky, in fact, that Pepe's form has improved, and he has had multiple shots today, which could have increased the energy of the game. But I think it was just very meh. It all started. If you look back in the 13th minute when the tackle against Bruno was made, and there's a bit of a scuffle, and I was like, oh yes,
mm,
scuffle. Like when's the last time you see a Man United player and Arsenal player go against each other? And no, I'm not promoting violence, but in the days of Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane,
right.
you touch me, you done for, right?
Yeah.
And
And the fight used to start in the tunnel
In the
before coming
tunnel.
out.
I remember there was one
correct.
game when Vieira had a go at Neville, And
Yeah,
Roy Keane
and
came out and just told him, it's like you,
I'll
there's
see
not
you out there.
see out there. Like
Yes,
that was the passion
yes,
back in
yes.
the day.
That those the energy, and that was
Yeah.
that, we were the giants at that point, and that is what it meant. Man United was Arsenal as a game that every other supporter would sit down and watch because it was tense and it was exciting. And the only bit of excitement was the 13 minutes when the scuffle, and to be honest, Bruno should have gotten that yellow card for that
Mm,
14-minute tackle. That would have changed things.
mm,
And but again, energy very low. Arsenal second half had really good chances. Again, it was more of we missed Saka out there. We missed Tini out there. And these are the two players that Emil Smith Rowe really played his heart out, but you can see that final
yeah.
third. It's Saka getting into the box and making that magical pass. We lacked that. I really enjoyed watching Man United play today. But again, overall energy was very low. I don't think any of the teams went out there to win the game. If you ask me honestly, there was no winning attitude on the field today. And I
No,
think halfway point they were like, you know what, we'll just call it a draw. And they were really happy with the way they played. If you look at it, the only player that walked out of the pitch upset was Bruno. Right? He walked out. He didn't shake
Mhm.
anyone's hands. He just went straight into the tunnel. And everybody else, happy days. 5 years ago, nobody would be smiling with this result on the pitch itself.
Yeah.
And as an Arsenal fan, it's frustrating. But again, I think we stole the game in a way. So you guys should have had the 3 points, and I think it will be damaging for you guys in the long run, looking at how the title race is going.
yeah,
Yeah, fully agree with your points, man. Look, I'm just going to put my 2 cents as well. On paper, look, Yugi, no offense, but I honestly think that Man United have a stronger team on paper. We've got, World Cup winners, and we've got some really good
winner.
players who get you winner. Okay, fine. We've got some players who will actually can actually get you a goal out of nothing. We've got those
Mm.
players in our team. And when I look at Arsenal, I don't see many players there who can actually, when the situation calls for it, they'll go out there, they'll get a goal, and then they'll get the 3 points. I don't see that with Arsenal. But in saying that, today when I saw the teams come out, I thought Arsenal were magnificent, man. The way they control the back line, the way they organize the defense, the way they contained Bruno, the way they contained our fullbacks, it was a team that basically knew what the plan was and they stuck by the plan. They didn't need
Yeah,
the best players, but they knew exactly what to do. Every player knew what each and everyone's role was, and they kind of worked together well in a system. Well, so United, we've got individual players playing out of position. We've got a lot of players who didn't turn up today because maybe it was fatigue or maybe they're just going through a slump now. And the problem that we have is that when these players don't turn up, then we can't really produce anything. So
just
yeah,
you
it's
touched upon a good point, Gary. Let me quickly just give you a couple of things to think about, right? For our viewers as well. Since the lockdown, right? Since we've come back from lockdown and the Premier League's restarted, teams have played 47 games in
yep,
the league. 47. That's a league. That's a
on
whole
its own.
league in a year that we've played. And usually leagues spread out over, I mean, there's a break here, there's a break there, but this has gone like a year. We've played 47 games. Arsenal, I think, have played about 44, 43. It's about 5 games difference, right? About that. Um, and it's just incredible that, Maguire's played all those games. Bruno has played almost most of those games. And Arsenal players have, I mean, Aubameyang wasn't playing, but Aubameyang and Lacazette kind of featured most of the last season. And there is bound to be fatigue. And going what Yugi said as well, I think the Man United and Arsenal have transitioned so far from their previous selves that that rivalry isn't there anymore. It's just
Yeah, times have
Yeah,
changed.
It has even the styles of the gameplays of both the clubs have changed dramatically as well. And
Yeah.
it's bound to new managers, new players. You have to adapt and change. I think. I mean, defensively, yeah, we did really well today. I think Arteta's game plan of everybody get into the box, everybody defense, and the one point I have to mention is when I the there's one key point in the game that I went, oh my god, that was that yes, is when Martinelli ran back and headed the ball away from Rashford.
Rashford.
That
Yeah.
that would have been
Rashford.
that would have been a goal.
You guys were
When he did
hungrier
that,
for the result.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
hungry for not letting the goals in. I think that was the mission because we had like 5 clean sheets so far,
Mm.
and I think that it's. I think in Arsenal's point of view, every single game now is a training game. It's a game to
Mm.
improve. It doesn't matter where you're going to be in the table because there's no such thing as top half, middle half. Because look at the points gap; it's
Mm.
insane. So why not focus on improvement? Whether it'll pay out in the future, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, it is working in
Mm.
Arsenal's perspective.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That kind of brings us nicely into the next segment where we'll be talking about, where Arsenal will end up end of the season. So I'm just gonna, yeah, go into that. So we're halfway through the season now. Arsenal are picking up points now. Yugi, in your mind, what would be a good season for Arsenal in terms of finishing?
In my opinion, anywhere above 10th position.
Mm.
I mean, if you look at it, with the quality of all the clubs that are above us right now, um, I think 10th, anywhere above 10 would be I would say it would be it's not something it's not like we're aiming for the moon. I will not dare say top four. No way.
Mm.
It's a bit ridiculous to say top four at this point because you've got to get past all these other clubs that are above us. And right now we have crawled our way from 15th position over how many games, and we're crawling. We're like ninth place now. And if
Mm.
we look at the clubs that are above us, they've all got at least 2 or 3 games in hand.
Mm.
So I mean, everyone's just gonna frog leap each other. It's gonna be a Mario game all over.
Yes.
And
Mm.
at the end of the day, we're gonna be there, and we need to start worrying about people underneath us because I think as much as the expectation of the owners that God knows what the owners have, what expectations they have, or what's in Arteta's contract. No one knows. But at this point, if he still has a job, I think we're all focusing on progress,
Mm.
and I would say safely above the 10th position would be ideal for us to show that we have improved. And I'm predicting, I would say we would finish at sixth place.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm.
And that it's a bit far fetched, but I would say sixth place. But I'm happy if it's above 10.
All right. Chai, your thoughts on where United will end up?
Well, shout out to Yugi. Huh? He's just very, I mean, very, very well put about Arsenal, right? Uh, you've considered where you are in the league table, where you were, and how you're gonna. It's been a difficult season for all teams included, right? And just echoing what he said, United find themselves in a very similar position, albeit in a different, I guess, position within the league table. It is most of our competition is going to come from teams beneath us at this point. Right? Now, I'm not confident enough to hold on to this position for a lot longer. I think our realistic aim or goal should be top four and put a string of victories together in the upcoming games. Um, I would be happy at this point. At this point, with no other reinforcements, and I don't think any transfers are happening. I would say top four. I would say top four.
Okay.
Let's not get carried away by where we were and how the scenery looked from there. There's just not enough
What?
quality. Oh fuck off! Dude. I mean, there's no way. Should be dreaming
Fair
of.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, for
I,
me,
thi- I,
yeah. Sorry,
You
Yugi,
go.
go on.
I think top four is doable. Um, if you look at I'm looking at the table right now because I'm like curious, and fifth place West Ham. They've won out of the last five games. They won four,
Yeah.
and they're sitting
Exactly.
at what 35 points with
Mm.
Yeah.
still one
Five
game
points
in hand.
behind us. Yeah.
Mm.
And Tottenham and Everton have got they played only 19 games. Aston Villa 19 games. Aston Villa this it's like these three teams. Yes, their forms are shaky, their forms
Yeah.
are unpredictable. And but top four is a very good um, benchmark for you guys, and I think it's doable for Man United.
Mm.
Because you guys still have the players, and I don't think you guys have much injured players, and
That's true.
if you get the game plan right, and if you'll pick yourselves up after today's game. Trust me.
Mm.
So
Look, I hope so, right? I hope so. And Girish, I don't know what your thoughts about it are, but I guess considering we finished third this season, right? At least even if we don't progress, a status quo would do me just fine, right?
Mm.
Considering the pure and sheer volume of games that we've played this season and the pandemic, and there's a lot of, I mean, we had about nine teams on the top of the table, nine different teams who were nine, I think, um, who were top or joint top or whatever you want to call that, right? And it's just been such an unpredictable season. So I think if we finish third like we did last time, I think I'd be fantastically happy to.
Mm. Yeah, good points, guys. For me personally, it's been a crazy season. This season has been absolutely crazy. You see the likes of West Ham, Aston Villa. They're not even
Southampton,
like
Leicester,
Southampton as well, Everton. They're all in touching distance
yeah.
with the top spot. So it's been a really crazy season. And I think what's different this season is that look, the fans not being in the stadiums is a big thing for me. For a lot of the smaller clubs, they rely heavily on the crowd support, fans cheering them on to get wins and all that. And I think this season, with the fans not being in stadiums, a lot of the smaller teams are losing their home games when they would maybe get a draw or even a win sometimes against the top teams. And I think that's kind of changed a bit of the dynamics there. And a lot of
Mm.
the other teams in the table are also it's all like equal for everyone right now. No
Yeah.
fans in the stadium. Like you go to Old Trafford, it's empty now. You know, people are not scared to come and play us there. It's just another. It's basically like a training setup, right? Where there are no fans there in the stadium, and a lot of teams come there and they think, we're just gonna go and get the win there. So for me, I think it's really hard to say where United end up this season. With
Mm.
the results that have shown so far, it's anyone's guess as to what's going to happen. But one thing I know for sure is that City is going to win the league. That I'm really confident about.
Yeah.
And I have a strange feeling that, after the past two results now that United have, if you don't change things quickly, we're going to be in a bit of a trouble, a problem for us.
Look, man, I think you know what. Just to forward that thing a little bit in terms of what's changed this season. Obviously, injuries have played a big role, and Tottenham has a good manager within them within that system. So they're serious contenders. If they're, I mean, not title contenders, but serious top four contenders now. Chelsea, they will have a new manager or in the process or already appointed. I don't know for sure.
Tuchel is there, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll improve. Arsenal's improving, so I guess in the midst of all of this, it's just become such a. Everton has a good manager, so Ancelotti, man, come on, dude, you can't discount all of these teams, right? So to finish top four in this particular thing is a victory by itself for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in my opinion, or any other manager who finishes there, right? Because there's so much of talent in the management these days. Premier League, it's just incredible to watch and been an exciting season so far.
All right, thanks, guys. Now we go into the final segment of our show where we start talking about each other's managers. All right, Yugi. Now we've got to talk about the manager, Arteta, and the work that it's done so far to date. What are your overall thoughts about how he's performed? Do you think there's anything else he could improve on? Do you think he's still going to be Arsenal's manager in the long term? Do you think he's going to go? Yeah, give me your thoughts.
Um, I'm glad that we have him. I think we should have had him much sooner. We should have appointed him instead of Emery at the start. Because to be honest, if you can't communicate with the players, if all you're doing is going around, good evening, tactics, this and that. If you can't communicate with the players, how are you going to effectively distribute your plan? And that is very important. And I think that was one of the key issues that the players had under him because Emery bought Tierney. Emery did some. He's a good manager. He's got some. He's got credibility behind him. He's doing very well in his new club now, and it's just I think communication is key. And Arteta, from the very start, even as Arsenal captain, he was very vocal in how players should play the game, and he's just carried that forward. And I was actually quite when I started hearing rumors about Arteta, and I started watching the Man City documentary on Amazon,
Mm,
and you would see that most of the scenes and most of the tactical discussions that um, the manager would have is with his backroom team, and Arteta would be one of the key men there discussing. And I remember one of the matches against Arsenal. Pep just went, okay, Mikel, you got this. You plan the tactics against, and he did that. And you can see that he's learned a lot. Yes, he's a young manager, and I'm glad that he did not get fired.
mm,
I'm
Mm.
glad Arteta did not get fired because if you remember correctly, it was that period of time where
Yeah.
of all the young managers, Oli, Lampard,
Lam-
and Arteta, they were all slumming. Every single one of them, they were like losing games, and everyone's like, oh, they're gonna get fired. And then the Arsenal fans went go, oh, Arteta out, Arteta out. Famous last words, right? Since Wenger
Mm.
days. And I told myself, this mentality is only going to damage the game because you can't keep changing the managers because the players will be in fatigue, tactic fatigue. Like,
mm,
We just learned this, now you want us to learn this. We just
mm,
did this, now you want us to do this. It's going to burn them out, and I'm glad that they actually had faith in him or still have faith in him and just let him persevere through the defeats that we suffered. And if you look at it, like Frank Lampard didn't get the same opportunity. He was Gonski. And Ole was also on the verge, so close, and he's still there because he turned the tide around. So I'm really glad, and I hope Ateta stays with us. I hope. Um, and another thing I would add is if our owners were very proactive, Ateta would not have a job
Mm.
because Roman Abramovich is a proactive owner.
mm,
You know what I mean? He's going to look at the news in the morning and say, "What the hell is going on? Why?" And
mm,
Frank Lampard is very vocal about his tactics, very vocal about his players,
mm.
and I think he was very fresh. And he needed that groundwork that what Stevie G is doing in Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
The
Mhm.
groundwork.
Yeah, the thing about Roman, from what I hear, the Chelsea board and him, they actually look at the way the team play. They
Mm,
actually consider, they look at the coaching setup. A lot of the times they actually talk to the individual players to get feedback on the coaching staff. So he's very much involved in the team, and so the manager, obviously, with Chelsea being Chelsea, they spend billions and billions of money. They've got millions and millions of money each transfer window. They get the best players in, so the pressure is obviously going to be there, for any
right.
manager to perform. And I think that's the difference there between Arteta and Lampard. Arteta's coming to a team. He's been given time to kind of build his philosophy around the team, to kind of come up with his game plan and how he wants his team to set up, which sometimes is probably the best thing to do when you give a manager 1 or 2 seasons to kind of implement their philosophy. But yeah,
And I think the key point that Arteta is doing right now is get letting the youngsters play.
Yeah.
Letting them get the experience that they need to be. Um, and I don't not everyone will agree with the manager's tactics every single game. It's obviously a gamble. It's obviously a testing point, right? You're not that fit, maybe you're fit. How about we put you in? And is and if you look at it, he's putting his faith in Pepe now, and Pepe's played 2 games. He's shining right now, and in the absence of Aubameyang. And that's another thing that Aubameyang comes back fit, all right, where does Pepe go?
hmm
At one point, Willian was the star player of the team in his eyes, and not the world, because everybody else hated him, except for the Fulham game. But it's difficult to see a manager's point of view, but managers need time, and I don't. And the way the Premier League is going, it's scary. It's you lose 3 games, you got to start looking over your shoulders,
yeah.
and I think Chelsea is going to be dangerous very soon with
Mhm.
Thomas Tuchel.
Just before we wrap up, Chai, I just want to get your final thoughts on our fearless leader, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and what's in store for him if he doesn't get a string of results. Do you think he's here to stay? Do you think there's going to be rumors of another manager being linked to United? What are your thoughts?
Look, let's address the problem of what's available, right? There's no supply of good managers. So even if you want to fire him, who are you going to appoint,
They
right?
all have a job.
They all have a job right now. So
Yeah,
so it becomes difficult in that way. There's no supply of good managers. So I guess we'll stick with what we have. That's pretty much, at least for the short term, that's the fix. Now there are certain good points about Solskjaer. There's certain horrendous howlers that he makes. It's just inexplicable. Um, just touching upon Arteta as a manager very quickly before I move to Solskjaer. At least Arteta, as Yugi said, he's learned from Pep, right? He's been there, he's done that. He's kind of analyzed how the great managers think and work with the players and stuff like that. So I think he's better equipped to take on the Arsenal role or the mantle in a established Premier League club versus Ole was when he joined. Ole is learning through the job, and that's where I think we see such inconsistent results. So it's like playing a young team, right? When you rely on youngsters who will have a great game one day and then they'll probably flop the next. There's a lot of variability in terms of coaching. Solskjaer is a young coach, right? So his tactics are going to be as variable as the young players' performances are, right? So we have to deal with that, and we have to accept that as a fact. Now, whether he's going to be a leader who take us to Champions League victories, I don't believe he is.
I
I
have to,
don't.
I have to, I have to sorry, jump in there, Chai. I don't think Ole is as inexperienced as you say he is. He's been in the coaching game for about 10 years now. When you
Yeah, dude.
compare him to Arteta, Arteta is like a new manager. This is his first job as an actual manager of a team. And for me, when I look at the two teams,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm just going to jump in and keep my point really quick. I just look at Arsenal, and in the 2 years, the 2 seasons he's been there already, you can see the way that he wants Arsenal to play. Initially they considered a lot of goals and all that, but now he's kind of solidified the defense with Gabriel there. And I think once he gets one or two key players in midfield and attack, I think
Mhm.
Arsenal are potentially title contenders for me. Honestly, I tell you,
Well,
I really believe that.
2 more seasons.
Yeah,
yeah.
I honestly
Then,
believe he's a super
dude.
underrated manager, and once he gets the players he needs,
So
he's got
that's
a
the
good
question, right? We need the players he needs. Considering
depth.
how Arsenal's philosophies have gone, probably he's not getting the players he needs. Or he has to invest in good scouts, not good players, to find those really undervalued players who bring value to when they come onto Arsenal. So one or two things, right? That it could happen, and I agree with you. Now, and probably the expectations at Arsenal is probably not as big as expectations. So dealing with that pressure itself is a completely different ball game. So I'm not standing up for Solskjaer. I don't think he's going to be the manager to get back to our winning ways back in the day and stuff like that. I don't even know how long it'll take for us to get there. But what I'm trying to say is he works well with certain players, but he's very deficient in in-game management. I think overall as a strategy, he set up he set up certain things and utilizes our pace and counter-attacking skills, I guess, um, in a way that the other managers haven't been able to leverage in terms of Jose and Van Hal and stuff like that. They were never able to leverage our speed, right? And this guy's come back and said, okay, you know what? I think our strengths are here, so we should play this way. That's fine. He has some system, but 2 years, 2.5 seasons in, does he know who's the best midfield? No, he doesn't. He's bought a player who's sitting on the bench. Why isn't he playing? And it's just there are so many questions that go unanswered with Ole, and then do I put it to lack of experience? Managing Molder is literally like we doing an internship when we were very 10 years old, right? So we
I
worked
think
in a
the
shop.
quality of experience, that's what's
Yeah,
like.
exactly. That's the word. That's precisely put. So, I mean, did he fuck up in game management today? Of course he did. All the faults that we kind of come back from the game saying, "Fuck, why did he do that?" We always have the manager blame at some point or the other. Saying, "Why did he do that? Why did he do this?" I, some of this is just inexplicable, and today was one of the today's in game management was one of them as well. And I could give him time, dude, but I mean, I'll give him time if I'm confident he'll win the league. I don't think he will. So
So you want him out or in?
I want him to steady the ship a little bit because what our average tenure for a manager has been 2.5 years over since or less than or about 2 years since Ferguson left. So I think we'll give him a short run of space to kind of build the foundation up a little bit and build some bring some character to the team, and then we can go from there. I'm
I
not
think
I'm
he's
not going
got
to
about.
suggest
I think he's got another 18 months, and I just hope we don't renew his contract. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
let him go through this 18 months. Let him steady the ship or whatever it is you want to call it.
Yeah.
Uh, get the mentality right and all that, and then I want us to get an actual manager who's going to take us to win the Premier League.
Director
That's
of
all.
football is the period.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't care who manages us. I think we need a director of football. I think once that puzzle is solved, I think for
I
both
just
the
want
teams, right?
Mm.
I just want to jump in there on that thought that you guys are sharing right now.
Yeah.
Um, in hypothetically, who
Mhm.
would you want? Right? I mean, if let's say you could have and do not choose Premier League managers because most of the best managers are right now in the Premier League. So outside the Premier League, if you could handpick one manager to take over Man United after 18 months, who would you
Mm-hmm.
choose?
I want
Pochettino.
Poch, and I think Poch is coming.
Mm. I think this
Remember,
is just
okay, Ole's got 18 months left on his contract. Poch has
he
signed an
signed
18-month contract.
with PSG.
I think it's all lining up.
And I think now see, look, if for some weird reason this guy goes wins the Europa League, Solskjaer wins the Europa League this season, wins the FA Cup this season, then it'd be hard pressed for us to fire him in 18 months. It's not going to happen, right? I think what's gone on in the background is you go manage a big club, get some experience, watch, and come back, win some trophies, so that you can bed into the system. And we've been like what psychos coming up with bloody conspiracy theories saying all these players he signed are Spanish or Spanish speakers, right? All the players, most of the players that we
I
got
honestly
this
thought. I
year
honestly thought.
was with Teles, Bruno. I mean, Bruno wasn't signed this transfer window, but we always kind of hypothesized that it was going to be these are Pochettino signings, and we were talking about that. Whether it was conspiracy theory or there was some meat into it, I have no idea. But Jesus Christ, man. Um, my closing thoughts, right? Whether it's Arsenal, whether it's United, right now, I don't think we back our managers with financial stimulus. We don't. We just hang them out to dry, and they have to make do with what they have, and hence we're in a position that we find ourselves in.
Anyway, guys, lots of good topics there, a lot of good arguments, good discussion. Yeah, really good talking to you again, Yugi. Nice
Yep.
to have you on
Yeah,
the channel. Look forward to having you again. Hopefully, the next time we play you guys, we can actually beat you guys.
probably Europa League, so we'll see for that.
Probably now. No, but honestly, really good to have you. And
Yep.
thank you again
Thank you.
for coming on the channel.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Iggy. Thanks. It was really insightful discussion, guys. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. It was really good to have an Arsenal fan and him giving his perspectives on how things went. I would like you guys to to tell us how you felt as well. Please drop us a comment and let us know how you thought the game went and what we should do better in the upcoming games against Southampton and Everton. Yeah, so that's it for now. Hit the like on the like button if you like this video, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and this is Chai with Gary.